Welcome back to Fox Valley in Focus. We're joined now by Alderman Bob Jones of Plano. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Now, you have been in office just a little bit over a year.
I was elected April of last year. That's correct. I just completed my first year.
And after 40 years of gainful employment, you're now retired. What compelled you to take on the responsibility of being an alderman?
Well, one of the things that I always believed in, Cindy, was that one only gets out of their community what they're willing to put into it. And I've always been one who believes in volunteerism and service to my community.
And you have an extended history of service from your previous community. You were in Bolingbrook for a number of years, but you served on fire and police commission boards. You served on the school board. You served on planning commissions. What kind of experience did you bring then to a community like Plano?
Well, I think that the fact that I did serve for I lived 17 years in Bolingbrook, and while there served 4 years on their planning commission and 2 years on the police and fire commission as the president of the commission, and then 10 years on the board of education. I thought that with that experience and also the fact that I had better than 40 years of labor relations experience.
And how does that labor experience translate to helping to run a community?
Well, we've got a number of employees that work with the city, and I'm privileged to be the chairman of the personnel and the benefits committee. So anything I can do to help the employees, and believe me, they've gone through a rough time the last 2 years. They haven't had an increase. This will be their second year for our non-union employees. And we also have bargaining unit employees as well in our police department. So that my experience in labor would certainly hopefully help that.
As far as
working
overseeing
negotiations and being able to develop hopefully cost-saving measures that would benefit the city.
Now you compare a county like Will County to Kendall County, which up until a year ago was in the top 5 counties in the nation as far as growth and the rate of growth. How would you compare Will County to Kendall County?
When I first came to Illinois, which was in 1978, Will County wasn't that big of a county as such. And I attribute a lot of the growth to the mayor of Bolingbrook, who really brought the growth into the community. Will at that time was kind of like a Kendall is today. And so Kendall being the kind of county it is, there's a golden opportunity for the people in the county to work for the betterment of everybody, not only Yorkville and Oswego. And those are some of the things that I'd like to do too, is to work in conjunction with some of our other communities.
What would you consider some of the more unique challenges that Plano is faced with, especially where we are economically?
Well, one of the first challenges I found when I came here was that you have a certain mentality of your residents, the community. They're old school, and they resist change, and that's understandable because it's like the old and the new. Well, I'm kind of the guy that's coming in with the new ideas, and sometimes they meet with resistance, and not only from my constituents, but also from my counterparts on the council. So it's interesting. It's a challenge.
Well, there's quite a diverse mix between the established residents. Correct. And then you bring in several new neighborhoods, which is an infusion of new blood, and I could understand how there might be some resistance to we've always done it this way of thinking, as opposed to what if we try this? Exactly. What are some of those what if we try this that you have introduced?
Oh, let's see. One of the things that I did was, in our conversation, I felt that we needed more attendance at our council meetings and that there would be more transparency. And so my initial thought was to hopefully have our council meetings start later, because they used to start at 5:30 when I moved to Plano. And here again, I wanted 7 o'clock, and so we compromised and went to 6 o'clock. So, but unfortunately, the only time we get attendance is when there's an issue. So there's kind of a sense of apathy, and I hate to say that, but it's very true.
And would you say that's inherent in local politics, or do you think that that is limited to
No, that's inherent, believe me. One only has to look at the results on election day and how many people turn out to vote during elections, both on a municipal election and also on county-wide elections. It's very poor turnout. People are very apathetic, and that's unfortunate.
And one quick question here,
Sure.
and it's kind of, it's not kind of a quick answer. How do you change that?
A lot of prayer. No, you work together. I'm working in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce and other business entities, in hopes of developing a city center plan, which would certainly enhance Plano to the extent that it would all of a sudden become a mecca for visitation and tourism. Some of the ideas I had in mind was along 34, where the old Mia More was, to put murals depicting some of the history of Plano.
I hate to interrupt you, but we're going to take a quick break,
okay.
and hopefully you'll
Sure.
resume that thought when we return.
I sure will.
Don't go away. We'll continue our conversation with Alderman Bob Jones in just a moment.